So, today we're going to take a look at the patch 8.2 class tuning incoming August 13th. Yes, I've actually was trying to think the last time I remember them doing any class tuning, and it seems to be a lot less in recent months than it has been previously. I might be completely wrong with that. Somebody might turn around and say, actually, Grim, you'll find that they've been doing it non-stop, constantly, but it just doesn't feel like that. I've been looking through the patch notes. Almost every day I look through stuff just to see what's going on, mainly for the channel. Also the fact that I am a fan of WoW, and it interests me. And I can't think of any time I've seen, a big in-depth look at classes and that we need to change X ability or Y ability or whatever. Anyway, finally we have some notes coming out about class tuning, and we're going to look through it. Do not expect this to be a particularly long video if we just look at the patch notes, because they ain't great. Or the class tuning notes, I should say. So here we go. We're looking. I can't even read. I have my cup of coffee right next to me, and I obviously need more of it, so excuse me. Okay, now try and use your big boy voice and actually read this properly. We're working on the following changes to several specs, which will go live with scheduled weekly maintenance in each region. So, Tuesday in America, Wednesday for us Europeans, and so on and so forth. Please note that these adjustments are in testing, and we may add, edit, or strike them between now and maintenance, as always. We'll let you know here if we make changes to the changes. How many times can you use changes? And we'll post the final numbers of hotfixes updated immediately after maintenance. So, what are we looking at here? The Death Knight. Dun dun dun. Frost. All damage abilities increased by 5%. Okay. Unholy. Damage of all abilities increased by 5%. There's a reoccurring theme here, ladies and gentlemen. Warlock. I should be going whoop at this point. Destruction. Anybody want to spin the wheel? Put a bet on this? See what we're going to go with? Damage of all abilities increased by 5%. Okay. Hey guys, you're knocking this out of the ballpark so far. I just got to say that. I love it. Anyway, let's go. I have no doubt they explain all of this in the developers notes section. They'll explain it all. Let's carry on. Warrior arms. About fucking time, I would say. Damage of all abilities increased by 5%. Okay. Developers notes. Here we go. This is where they're gonna tell us everything. The reason that they did this. Okay. We're gonna see inside the mind of Blizzard. Here we go. Developer notes. Arms Warrior, Destruction Warlock, Frost Death Knight, and the Unholy Death Knight are generally underperforming and could use a damage increase. No, is the rest of the patch notes missing? Anybody got the rest of anybody got the longer patch notes? This doesn't seem to be complete. No? Okay. I'm so glad they do developer notes. I'm so glad. What exactly does that tell me? They were just like, let's give them like 5%. So we just 5% to what ability? I don't fucking care, John. Just tweak them all 5%. You sure? Just do it, God. Oh. Okay, so that's what they've done. Now, we are going to look at the comments after this, just see what people have put down below. But what... This tells us nothing. This whole bit, that tells us absolutely nothing. Obviously, they're underperforming, or in Blizzard's eyes, underperforming, because they've done 5%. But it doesn't give us any idea of where's their benchmark. This is what I would question, is where is the benchmark? Because to turn around and say, well, 5%... they're underperforming by 5%. Okay, but you must have in your mind then a scale. There must be some benchmark at Blizzard where you think X, this class is top of the tree at the moment with this number, and we believe that all classes should be in or around that. Or, as they have said before, you are a specialist in single target, you are a specialist in AoE, you are a specialist in cleave, whatever, and we kind of want to make sure that you're performing in that sphere well. If you're not, then we need to look at what abilities make you super strong. So, Destruction Warlock, for instance, I haven't played Destruction for a little while. I tend to only play it in Ireland I'm just thinking, if I want to throw fireballs and stuff, then probably I'll just roll a fire mage. Although probably not at the moment. The numbers are not the best, so I've heard. Frost, I think, is king of the arcane and fire. Need some love, but they're nowhere in this list. Anywho, but I'm just, as I say, try and tell us a little bit more. Are they just, if they're that bad, there are other specs out there that are that bad, that need some love. Are you looking at potentially not just buffing those numbers because the gameplay is bad, and therefore we want to look at this fabled 9.0 that we're going to add in? We're going to change characters. We're going to change classes and specs. So we're kind of those. We're not. If you remember, I'm trying to think now. The Shadow Priest and the Shaman were stated for big love. So they dropped the Warlock, the demo Warlock's big love, and it was good. I actually quite like it. Yeah, could it be better? Yeah, but you know, we're always going to have those issues. But they said Shaman, Priest, going to get lots of love. Don't worry, we're doing rebuild on it. It's going to be great. You guys are going to love it. And it was meant to drop beginning of BFA. Did not drop. First patch it drops. And they had done, I believe the words Cuddles said were, she plays a Shaman, was they've done fuck all. Where the fuck's the rebuild? She was really excited about this rebuild. The potential for what could happen. And it was nothing. It was tweaks. Whether they run out of time, they just finally wanted to get it out there. Whether they sat there and had no idea what the hell to do, I don't know. But eventually it just came out as this sort of wet noodle. So I don't know whether they've got these classes in mind where they're thinking, or specs I should say, just keep that one on the back burner. Literally, like they've stated openly in the past, literally don't play demo Warlock. It's that kind of mentality of, look, just, yes, we know you're going to turn around and say, hey, but what about Blur? What about Blur? Nah, just don't play them for now, alright? They're going to get love. We're going to rebuild them all in 9.0. So just like, just don't do it. Also, isn't this dropping in the middle of MDI? I will admit, first season of MDI, I was all over it. I was super involved, super excited. I was big fanboying it. And then everybody starts rolling out exactly the same builds over and over and over and over and over and over again. And you just get sick and tired of watching it because it was actually really boring. It's great watching the best players, but when all they're playing is exactly the same thing, and it's basically just who's going to make a mistake, then it's not that exciting. In my opinion, it's entirely my opinion. Rogue! Speaking of the MDI. Speaking of just Mythic Plus in general, rogues. Specifically Outlaw Rogue. Which is, if you go on Warcraft logs at the moment, and you look at DPS, is just, I say dominates it. Have a look at healers. Literally go and have a look at the top healers in M Plus at the moment. Druid! Sorry about that. Resto Druid. Oh, I need just a little sip of coffee, excuse me. Yeah, they're not dominating at all. Anyway, rogues. Blade Flurry now strikes nearby enemies for 30% of the normal damage. Was 45%. Keep your wits about you, which was an Azurite trait. Now increases the chance of Sinister Strike to strike again by 3%. Was 5%. And the maximum number of stacks has been increased to 33. Developers' notes. They're going to do a little bit. This is why I prefer when they actually do individual talents, be it actual class talents, be it some sort of an Azurite trait. Just, we get a little bit more depth. Just we've increased it because we thought their damage was low doesn't really help. And that's going to kick up all sorts of other issues because that's just a flat 5%. I'm not entirely sure because I'm not in the world of PvP. But some of that's going to fuck up because I bet you Destruction Warlock was half decent as far as I remember, in not like top tier, but was half decent in PvP. Is a 5% increase going to kick all that out? Is Unholy 5? I don't know. But it just seems a flat 5% is a little cray-cray. But okay. So, developers' notes. While multi-target cleave is an iconic strength of the Outlaw Rogue, this is true, we feel that Blade Flurry is currently too strong. You feel just like, how long has that feeling been with you? Have you blindly been fumbling in the Force to try and work out that Blade Flurry is too fucking strong? Because I could have told you that the first fucking week the BFA came out. Blade Flurry was too fucking strong. But anyway, who saw that out? Particularly in Mythic Keystone Dungeons, you don't fucking say. Likewise, the Azurite trait, Keep Your Wits About You, provides too much added value to the rotation. Only a single instance of the trait. These changes should keep Outlaw rogues very strong at multi-target cleave, but no longer significant ahead of other specs. Okay. Proof is in the pudding, we shall see. The thing is with rogues is that, yes, their damage needs to be competitive, but they have so many other toolkits in there. They have so much utility that they're already a given you're going to bring a rogue. You know, like you could say, oh, but Warlocks have a great. And apologies, I will hark on about Warlock because I play a Warlock. Warlocks have good utility, you know, gateways, hellstones, everything else, but they're not essential. They have a good utility kit, not essential. Shamans, again, have a good utility kit, but for M+, it's just not essential. The Rogues one is very, very good, and some would say, especially in the current meta, essential. There's no way you're not going to take a Rogue, even if they tweak the numbers a bit. Yeah, are we going to say like 3 Rogue DPS? I doubt it, but you... Anyway. Breathe. The proof will be the pudding as to whether that actually kills the Outlaw Rogue. I don't know if it will. They nerfed the Prot Warrior. You still see fucking everybody's on a Prot Warrior still, so, you know. Time will tell. Now, finally, something I am really pleased about is the Resto Shaman, because I do have a secretly hidden Resto Shaman that I actually like to play on. I only do like LFR raids and shit like that, so I don't properly heal on it at all, but I actually find the class itself very, very fun. I really do love the spec. Actually, I like Shamans full stop. I like Resto, I like Ellie, and I quite like Enhancement, so I actually do like all of them. I think, excuse me, if I didn't play a Warlock, and if Cuddles didn't play a Shaman, I'd probably main a Shaman. I used to I don't know why I'm going completely off tangent, but in Wrath of Lich King, I played a little bit of Warlock, but also played Shaman at the same time. Particularly I used to play Enhancement. I used to love that with the Wolves. Oh, God. Anyway. So, Resto Shaman, Healing Surge and Healing Wave. Healing increased by 10%. Mana cost reduced by 5%. Healing Rain healing increased by 20%. Riptide healing over time increased by 15%. Wellspring healing increased by 15%. Jesus Christ, if you got to jump it up by these kind of numbers, then why haven't you done this sooner? Because I will say this, and I've spoken about it before in a video, and that was, I remember doing, I want to say a Tour de Tsar, and we went in, low level Mythic Plus was not high, group was fully competent, able to do it, and we went in with a Shaman healer, and the guy turned around and said, guys, I can't heal this. And he was a very, very, very good healer, and he did it subsequently on his other healers, absolutely fine. It wasn't a case of the player couldn't do it, his class, his spec could not do it. He just couldn't keep up with the healing demands for it. And I know there'll be Shamans out there going, I can do a Tour de Tsar's fucking piece of piss. Your guy was just shit. He wasn't shit. He was a decent player. It was just at that time and that place, the Shaman just couldn't handle it. Whether it was gear, whatever else, fine, I get it. But if that problem's been so persistent for so long, why is it taking now to throw it out there? Why aren't more healers getting love? Why isn't Holy Priest, I'm thinking, getting a little bit of love? Any of them, any healer. Because, as I say, you look at the list of healers currently, topping MDIs, topping M+, it's fucking Druids. It's Druids all over the place. But anywho, I'm glad Shaman's getting some love. Let's read the dev notes. In general, Restoration Shamans are struggling with single target healing environments like Mythic Keystone Dungeons. The fucking thing you keep pushing, Blizzard. You're making it the only thing in your game right now. Anyway, because of the MDI. That's why they want to push it. But also arenas. So we're buffing some spells from their single target kit. At the same time, we also feel like they aren't doing as well in a particular area where they should excel. Healing in a large number of targets in a small area. So we're increasing the strength of Healing Rain. Finally, Wellspring is an underperforming talent we feel could benefit from an increase to be competitive. All good. Let's see the proof. Let's see if it actually does anything. I'll be intrigued. As I say, I do really like the Shaman, so I will be very intrigued to see how that goes. Now, for the sake of rounding out everything here, we shall read the player versus player. Now, I will say I'm not really going to comment on this because I'm not a PvP player. I don't think it's unfair for me to go, oh, this is interesting, or that's interesting, or that's not, if I have no knowledge on it. So, all Tier 3 Azerite traits, such as Resounding Protection and Impassive Visage, are now reduced by 20%. Efficiency in PvP was 50%. But as note, we'd like to see sustained damage become a greater source of pressure in arena battlegrounds. But the passive healing provided by these Azerite traits offset much of that damage. We think that by decreasing their impact, we'll see greater pressure on health and mana pools going forward. Understood. Is it still the case in PvP that it's all burst? It's like that window where you can just do your Swifty and kill something. I don't know. As I say, I haven't watched a lot of PvP recently, and I don't PvP at all. So, but that's, as far as I remember, that's the way it used to be, is that you just wait for that big burst window and then boom, nuke somebody out of existence. Death Knights, Necrotic Strikes, Necrotic Wound now absorbs 5% of the target's maximum health. In healing received was 7%. Melee attack damage and attack speed of the Rise Abomination Guardian has been decreased by 30%. Developers notes, while Death Knight damage is underperforming in raid environments, they are very strong in PvP. To offset the increase of their base damage, we're reducing the effectiveness of 2 very strong honor talents. Okay, so this goes back to what we were saying before, is that I wasn't sure how the classes above, so namely these ones here, how they were performing in PvP and such. So it's just because without a shadow of a doubt, the flat 5% here is primarily designed for M+. It sounds snide, but that's Blizzard's focus. Yeah, rating's there, yeah, PvP's there, but this they care about MDI more. I keep saying MDI, I mean M+, but we all know it's the same fucking thing in Blizzard's eyes. So that explains it. So they're going to tweak some of the Death Knight's abilities to counteract this 5% increase. Okay, fine. Temporal Shield now has a 4-second duration. Apologies, we have now moved on to the Mage. Was 6 seconds. Okay. Developers notes, while we like the predictive gameplay of Temporal Shield in response to the offensive pressure, we think the duration provides too much protection for a class that should be focused on control and mobility for defense. Okay. There we go. Okay, so if you're... I have nothing to say on that. Obviously, by the sounds of it, you're able to stay alive too long. As in, to stand there and do nothing. You should be using your mobility, you should be slowing classes and things like that. Okay, whatever. Whatevs, I will let far more learned people on PvP discuss them. But overall, is this what goes for class balance now in Blizzard? Just to sum it up, is this what we're getting now? Because this is pretty weak sauce. And as I say, is that because they have things coming up that they are looking at, as I say, like class changes, class balancing, 9.0 in the back of their mind? In which case, were these really the ones that desperately needed it? Were there others that could have been in this group with a little bit of love? Yeah, but again, are they not pushing those because they just don't want you to think about them until the yet again more rebuilds come out? Anyway, we'll have a quick look at what the comments say and then we'll be done, because I've been waffling on far too long and I need a top up of coffee. Developers notes, Arms Warrior, Destruction Warlock, Frost, Death Knight and Unholy are generally underperforming and could use an increase. I'm sure 5% is going to fix it. Well, who knows. Let's see, in case of Destruction, easily. Yeah, Destruction's not that bad. I say that as a non-Destruction player, I understand that, but yeah. With everything else we've got flying around at the moment, Azerite traits, the new neck abilities and everything else, yeah, we'll see. I mean, that could be the same for all of them. Arms Warrior I hear is very bad. I don't play Arms Warrior, but funny they nerfed roads during the MDI. Should have done it with 8.2 already. Let's see if the teams can adapt quickly enough. That is true. I am shocked that they're doing this. If you guys remember, I think it was when 8.2 dropped. It may have been 8.15. The Demo Warlock. Sorry. Yeah, Demo Warlock was like shit hot. It was really, really good. There were some really top guys who could do just dirty magic things with them in M+. And they they nerfed them. Not only did they nerf Implosion, they also nerfed the... Well, they didn't nerf it. They corrected an issue with pets having too much haste. And it meant that they disappeared. There were people potentially thinking about them for the MDI, and they just disappeared. Rogue didn't get touched. And everybody knew at that point rogues were way broken. But it would appear, now mid-MDI, they're prepared to slap the rogue. So there we go. Wait, what? Buffs to Unholy DK and Destruction Locks? Whoa. Nothing to say about that. About time! Anyone who says Outlaw isn't OP is delusional. It's pretty silly when groups are only inviting rogues because they have good single target, amazing AoE, and amazing utility back to everyone else. Amazing single target. I don't agree with that at all. Utility compared to everyone else, they have good single target, and compared to the rest of their toolkit that they can do, yeah, why wouldn't you take them? But I can outdo a rogue single target on a demo lock easy. They needed this nerf bad. 30% wasn't enough in my opinion. Destroy them! I have a 410 Outlaw Rogue, 1 green Crystal Essence, crap gear, and I'm top in M10 by AFKing, watching Netflix, and stroking my giant knob. He doesn't say that, but that's basically what he's saying. I'm not even going to read the rest of that because you're just being a fat at that point. Still no Glimmerins, holy shit man, if any spec was overtuned, the entire WoW 4 was a crash of rage and it was fixed. Absolutely insane. The case destruction easily, I hope so. But it seems unlikely, my affliction sims 40k. Okay, here's the question. Here's the issue, is the 5%, what is it that we're looking for? We're looking for comparity in raids, which it used to be it. It used to be, how is it going to perform in raid bosses? How, that's it. That was the benchmark. But MDI has overtaken that as a benchmark. So, that, I'm going to guess, is against a raid boss. You're simming awesomely, and then he's simming less. But, is that overall in Mythic Plus? This is the problem now. This is the issue that we have, is that the game has shifted, I believe, away from raiding. And is now into M+. But all of our old metrics are still generally based on raiding and not M+. I don't say I necessarily agree with that. I just think that that feels to me like the direction we're going in. Resto's getting buffed. She'll see something else soon. Yeah, I don't... Well, another 5% to arms. That is going to fix what is a train wreck of a spec right now. See, that's why I'm surprised that arms got 5%. Because the little bit I played arms, it just needs a rebuild. It just didn't feel good at all. Fury, regardless of numbers, is just so much more fun to play. Typical business, instead of nerfing the OP Warlock specs, just buff the balance ones. Warlock's tuning since 2005. Why nerf any top-end spec? If you have specs that are performing well numbers-wise, and we've got to remember, those numbers are going to be in keeping with what Blizzard is happy with. Alright, if you are so outside the realms of what they're happy with, in terms of going up against a boss, if you're so high on the numbers that you can just destroy a boss instantly, then Blizzard are going to nerf you. It's as simple as that. But if your numbers are okay, if you're not melting bosses, then fine. What they should be doing is bringing up lower specs so that we're all comparable. So, So, what do you developers now? Okay, Resto. So, what you're saying is that Restoration Shaman will suck everywhere. Okay, yeah, they sucked way before it. Arms Pels the Legion days. True, but a lot of classes do. Jesus Christ, I know Druids, or certainly, oh fuck, Balanced Druids are like King of the Hill at the moment. Turns to DPS, but I tell you what, they're still not as fun to play as they were in Legion. Love Mouse, I've guessed Enhance is just deleted this expansion. This is my point. This will be one of those, you're a demo lock. Just don't play demo lock. That's one of those things. Is there anything else interesting? We'll leave it there. We've been going on long enough. So yes, we finally have some class tuning for what it's worth. Apparently 5%. That's what it's worth. A little bit of a nerf to Rogue. Yeah, it's needed. Let's see what happens. And let's see what happens with Shaman. Will it bring any of these into the MDI? I fucking doubt it. But, yeah. There we go. That's me done, ladies and gents. I'll catch you all later.